From our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra, hello, good morning and welcome to Joy News Desk. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. I'm Noella Kareniali. And coming up, Chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee, Professor Ayikoi Otoo, continues to garner support for the committee's proposal on constitutional review. We speak to a former Attorney General about the feasibility of some of the recommendations. Also, U.S. carries out strikes on Nigeria, targeting Islamic State militant in the country's northwest, accusing the group of attacking Christian communities. We assess the significance of the strikes. Also, in the bulletin, today is the day and excitement has reached its peak as patrons and music lovers gather for the highly anticipated Joy Family Party in the park. Details shortly. I'm Noella Kareniali. You're welcome back to Joy News Desk with me, Noella Kareniali. Now, Chairman of the Constitution Review Committee, Professor Ayikoi Otoo, has defended his committee's proposal to limit electioneering campaign to a definite 120-day period. Now, some critics have described the proposal as not feasible, but speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy News' Ayikoi Otoo, Professor Otoo said the proposal is workable and has been implemented in several countries, including the continent.
Different are we in other Africa? You go to look. We were in Senegal before their last election with my team from What They Want and CDD, and we went there to help our civil society colleagues. At the time, there was the understanding this was the election that was moved.
Yes.
So when we got there, you know, one thing was clearly noticeable: no billboards. You would see no posters, nothing, and my people were like, why isn't the election, aren't the elections coming about in a month or so? The election season had not opened. So you couldn't mount billboards. You could do, as a party, you could always do your things, in-house things to prepare for an election. But outdoor events like rallies, putting posters, doing all those things, jingles and those things, those can be easily regulated, right? So if we say that the season, it doesn't mean that we are handicapping. We're saying that you cannot be doing your things as a party to get yourself organized. And we have to, you know, we shouldn't really, I think the pushback against an idea should also look at it as we are part of a global community. This, you know, you say an idea, it won't work. But then how is it working in Sierra Leone? How is it working that the mayor of Sierra Leone, for example, of Freetown, is elected on a party ticket, and she's from one party and the president from another party. They are coexisting. It's working. In Ghana, you said, oh, but it's not going to work. If MPP and NDC, you think that we are like from a different planet, right? So this insularity sometimes causes us to just, you know, box ourselves into a situation as if we are captured by the status quo and we can't free ourselves from it. So it is not true that you cannot have, you know, an election calendar that says campaigning cannot go on until a certain date. It happens in many countries, actually.
Now, Professor Ayikoi Otoo also explained the recommendation to extend the presidential term limit from 4 to 5 years.
In our logic, if you think from the perspective of the voter, 5 years is going to be a very difficult thing for the incumbent to come back and ask for more time if they haven't performed well. So our thinking is that actually 5 years is tough on the incumbent and may very well lead to a result where fewer people get a second term. If you have not performed well in 5 years, Ghanaians are not really going to entertain the thought of letting you stay in 5 years. But the 4-4 was becoming like a tradition. It's like everybody gets 8. But this time, we may be getting more presidents getting 5. So it's not like you just multiply 5 by 2 and say, hey, 10 years there is too much. No, the 10 is going to be difficult to get.
Yeah. I mean, you said something at the start that when you some of your considerations were that even if certain things were going to favor people, then it would take effect the next time.
Sure.
One of the questions people have been asking is this 5 years. I mean, depending if government accept that it is white paper and then start the process to amend the constitution to put that in the constitution, will that apply to John Dramani?
It's not possible. He was elected under a constitution that gives him only 4 years. He cannot change his term midstream. It's not possible. You know, in fact, in an earlier version of this report, for the avoidance of doubt, we had stated that this would take effect after this. And then some of our amongst us said, well, but if we say that only with respect to this recommendation, it would appear that the rest would not apply. So we said, oh, no, everything applies after, you know. So we just said, no, it would not, we didn't need to be that specific about it, you know, so we left it.
Let's get on Zoom now and speak to former Attorney General, Mr. Ayikoi Otoo. We're grateful for your time here, sir. Which of the proposals do you think are very significant and which one will be difficult to implement? Sir, if you can unmute for us so I can hear you.
Hello, is it okay now?
Yeah, it's better now. I can hear you.
Let me say that these are very wide-ranging things. Fortunately, some of us took some keen interest in the work, and some of us were almost like permanent features during the hearing. So generally, we agree with most of the things that have been said. Which
ones do you agree with?
Oh, almost everything that is there. Because see, if I remember, the background was that we should try and get the president's hands out of almost all the appointments. Because if you read the Constitution, you find that almost every appointment is at the behest of the president. And so we did not perhaps allow the civil society organization and the systems to work, because the president has an overwhelming influence on almost everything. He appoints almost everybody. And therefore, and then with his party in power, it is easy even when you want some representatives from certain individuals, for him and his party to influence those people to come into power. So that the whole idea was try and reduce that power that the president has over appointments. So generally, if we are coming from the Gadambe Council, we went there to talk about public lands in general, the way public lands are just taken, no compensation is paid, and at the end of the day, the land is also given to individuals who, and then the purpose for which the land was taken, is no longer factored in. But you take a land for a specific project only to turn it into, give it to an individual to do an housing estate and make money from that and all that. So we try to look at those, how to get the purpose for which the land is acquired to be followed through, and then to ensure that if the thing is not used for the purpose for which it is given, then it should be returned to the people. So you see that there have been some recommendation that if it is taken for a specific purpose and is not used for that purpose for a certain number of years, or for a certain period, the thing should go back to the pre-acquisition owners. And that before you acquire land compulsorily, make sure that at least you have money paid into an escrow account, which will be given as compensation to the pre-acquisition owners and the rest. So I would say that we are very enthused about the public lands provisions. We are very, very much enthused about the public lands provisions, and we think it's quite good.
Now,
for starters, as for the 5 years presidential thing, I don't think at the end of the day, many of the people who came settled on that one, because it appeared that most people felt that at least the 4 years have served us significantly, and therefore we should leave it to 4. Yes, the arguments were made that it takes a long time to compose or constitute your government when you win power, and then the first year is given up to that one, and then the second, third year is when you do your actual governance, and then the third, fourth year, you start preparing for the next elections. But if they had that in mind in looking at those provisions, then that one too, I think I have nothing against it. Then I would want to accept, because like he has just explained, you give the person 4 years, and then they take these things into consideration and say, oh, we didn't have sufficient time, so give him another 10. So that, like he said, it's becoming like now a convention that anybody goes, and it is 2 terms, 4 plus 4, because they think the first year 4, it didn't work. But if we give you 5, and then you have sufficient time to prepare, and you have not, performed, you cannot use.
But what then would you say to the other school of thought that says that, look, these political parties are given ample time, or have ample time to plan their manifestos and have their campaign periods and all of that? Why can't they form their government within that same period before whether or not they are elected into power?
Yes, it makes sense, except that during the time of, in 2017, after the 2016 election, the MPP won overwhelming majority, that areas that they were not thinking or expecting to win, they even won from there. So it became like, to satisfy what we call the regional balance, then the ideas they had originally as to where they were going to put people had to change. But
isn't, I hear what you're saying, I understand, but isn't the political party's job to preempt all outcomes and prepare adequately?
No, sometimes we'll be shocked. I mean, look at the number of seats that the NDC had now won. Did they think that it can go this way? It's not possible, including 2/3 majority. It's never happened before. So you don't take those things necessarily into consideration. But for me, I would go along with you if you say that they can have majority of the ministers and deputy ministers already earmarked for their positions, okay? So that if these unexpected things happen, you don't waste time on everything, but you can just jump in and look at the places that you were not expecting to win, and you have won, and you want to, thank the people and show gratitude towards them. That is also possible.
Now,
yes.
Go ahead.
Payment of taxes, I think, is also necessary, so that they feel what everybody feels. Because if they are not paying taxes, the president and his people are not paying taxes. So of course, then they don't care much as to whatever it is that the people are complaining about. But when they pay you and they are taking monies from your pockets, you begin to feel that, well, that's this is why people complain. So I also am of that opinion that they should, and capping the number 276 of the parliamentary membership, I think also makes a lot of sense, because every 10 years or so we have a census, and that would mean that we begin to create more constituencies.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, we cannot continue just to be creating. The Parliament House remains the same. The size is the same. So you pack people, make them backbenchers. Nobody even sees them when they are in Parliament. And we cannot continue every 10 years say we have had a census and population has changed, so we're also going to have create more constituencies than the rest. So if we are able to cap it, it makes sense. Capping the ministers too also makes sense, because we just cannot say we are showing gratitude to everybody who has, voted for us, to the extent that you have so many people, you don't even know what they are doing. It doesn't make sense. That also, I think I support a lot. Instead of putting, like I said earlier on about the state lands, that everything is in the president, you see that the same president would appoint the lands commission people. They are supposed to be independent, but they are subject to directions from the Minister of Natural Resources and Lands. And so the president keeps on saying, look, let us acquire this land, let us do this, let us. And it is the same person who appointed all of them. So let us make them know that, in fact, they are only trustees for the land. They are not owners. The land the thing has not belonged to them. It is the Lands Commission that must organize everything, and not the president who appoints and in whose name everything is being done. Okay.
Right, Mr. Ayikoi Otoo. Now, on the amendment of the Constitution, how soon do you think these amendments can be done, and what impacts do you think it will have on us?
Well, as I started by saying, when we are taking away the enormous powers of appointment from the president, that means that we are going to create strong institutions, as Obama once advised, that it is not strong leaders that we want, but strong institutions. Because what we have now is a joke. Everything is dependent upon the president. It's the president who appoints just everybody. You go to the National Development Planning Committee, and it's like it's the president's men. So why should they do any long-term planning for us and expect the successive governments, which are different from where they are, even if government is continue, for them to come and continue? Because almost all the people there were appointed by the president, and he tries to, tweak it to his party's manifesto. But if we have an independent group of people as National Development Planning Committee members who are thinking of how this government, the Ghana will develop within a certain period, and they are not necessarily all appointed by the president, it will change the governance. I mean, when we look at the Public Services Commission, civil service, almost everybody is being appointed by the president. So there are times we are told that even when people are removed from office, they don't know where to put them, and they just ask them to go to the Public Service Commission for them to look for a job for them. But then if you make sure that it is the Public Services Commission itself, which is doing the appointments based upon merits and the rest, so surely it will be a game changer if we get this constitutional amendment. The question is that if some of the areas that we are looking at are entrenched clauses, then you are looking at referendum, and that will take some time. But if they are not entrenched clauses that we want to look at, then why not? That will be easy. But all areas which are entrenched would be difficult, because you need to go through Parliament, come back to the people, get a referendum done before the thing will go through. The other headache is what they call the white paper. Whatever the government does not like, it will say that we are not going to endorse it, we are not going to buy into it. And therefore, you have gone to waste everybody's time, many months, that people have gone there to talk and to make proposals for amendment, thinking that it will help the government, only for the government in power to say that, look, we don't want it, and that in our wisdom, these proposals are unnecessary, and so we are not going to take them on. That is the issue. That brings me up to the other one, which they also propose, which is the getting people to do amendment without waiting for government to start it. Now, if you can get a certain number of signatories, that these people think that there must be some form of amendments. If we get that thing through, then we again get the power of government in power always deciding whether to have an amendment or not.
All right, Mr. Ayikoi Otoo, thank you so much for your time here with us. We really appreciate it. We've been engaging former Attorney General Mr. Ayikoi Otoo on the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations, and he has been sharing his thoughts on them. Away from that, an international lawyer representing former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has described the ongoing GRA SML case against his client as politically motivated. Mr. Ofori-Atta and others are facing 78 corruption-related charges over the controversial Strategic Mobilization Limited SML revenue assurance contract with the Ghana Revenue Authority. Now, the case has now taken on international dimensions, with U.S. authorities holding key decisions on whether there is sufficient legal basis to extradite the former finance minister to Ghana after Ghana triggered the extraction process following failed attempt by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to secure Ofori-Atta's return. Now, speaking to the BBC, Ofori-Atta's lawyer, Nayat Kasimi, said that his client is prepared to be held accountable for his actions as finance minister, but maintains the prosecution is driven by political considerations rather than evidence.
He's committed to fully complying with the laws of Ghana, and he's fully committed to answering for anything that he did when he was finance minister. There's absolutely no question about that. The question is he being given the rights that he's guaranteed under Ghanaian law? He is not. He has never been.
How so?
Mr. Ofori-Atta was receiving a treatment. Mr. Ofori-Atta was in the US. They knew all along. There was no purpose for issuing the red notice, but they went ahead and issued it.
Now, American President Donald Trump has said the U.S. carried out airstrikes against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria on Thursday after spending weeks decrying the group for targeting Christians. The president said in a post on his Truth Social platform, quote, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries." The U.S. military's Africa Command said the strike was carried out in Sokoto State in coordination with the Nigerian authorities. Nigeria's foreign minister said the strikes were carried out as part of ongoing security cooperation with the U.S., involving intelligence sharing and strategic coordination to target militant groups. Let's have some perspectives on this. And I'm joined by security analyst Al-Hassan Bello for more on this. We're grateful for your time here, sir. Which part of Nigeria would you say was attacked, and what impact will it have on the overall security situation in Nigeria?
Good morning to you and good morning to your church viewers. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Well, from the indication, it was in western part of Nigeria. And then
Mr. Bello, can you kindly reposition yourself? We're losing you. Hello, Mr. Bello? Hi, Mr. Bello. Can you hear me, Mr. Bello?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, you hear me as well?
I can.
I
we
can
lost
hear
you.
you.
We lost you
Hello,
for a
can you
bit.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So what I'm saying is that if you go back information, am I audible?
So we
Hello?
seem to be having issues with our Zoom connection with Mr. Bello, who is a security analyst. We wanted to seek his perspective or insight on the security issue going on in Nigeria. But away from that, government says it will soon expand prison facilities and legal aid services to address the growing number of inmates and individuals in need of legal support across the country. The decision follows renewed concerns over congestion at major correctional facilities, particularly the Nsawa Medium Security Prison, where inmate numbers continue to exceed capacity. Deputy Attorney General Dr. Stremsai says this has become critical to maintaining peace, justice, and social stability. He made the remarks in an exclusive interview with my colleague Stephen Mensah.
There's something called non-custodial sentences, where instead of sentencing the person to be in custody in the prisons, the person will be ordered to perform community service. That will reduce the number of people who are in the prison and therefore decongesting the prison, the prisons. That is one thing that we are doing. The other thing is, as you mentioned, some of the people who find themselves in prison have not actually been properly convicted. Some of them are remand prisoners who have been there for so long that the police service couldn't, afford keeping them in their police cells, and therefore have to be, transferred to the prisons. When we say equality before the law, we mean equal access to the law. You are not equal before the law if you don't have money to go and hire a lawyer to represent you in a law court. So it is a very significant, a very important institution that we need to pay attention to, and that is exactly what this government, the government of President John Mahama, is intending to do. Taxpayers' money alone would not be enough to deal with this problem.
Let's now go back to our earlier story where American President Donald Trump has said the U.S. carried out airstrikes, against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria on Thursday after spending weeks decrying the group for targeting Christians. And the president had said in a post on his Truth Social platform that, quote, "Tonight at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians." Now let's get some perspective, some security perspective to the story. And we've been joined once again by security analyst Alhassan Bello for more on this. Mr. Alhassan, before we lost you, I was asking which part of Nigeria was attacked and what impact will it have on the overall security situation in Nigeria?
Well, specifically from the information gathered, the attack occurred in northwestern Nigeria, Sokoto State in particular. But interestingly, there is no ISIS in Sokoto State. ISIS exists in West Africa through its ISWAP, affiliate, Islamic State West African Province, which is very active in northeastern Nigeria, Boko Haram, and other, militant groups. Moreover, ISWAP broke away from Boko Haram. By northwest Nigeria, what we have there is Lakurawa, which was a group that emerged, I think, late last year and became very formidable somewhere around early this year that they became very prominent like that. But then the attack against in Nigeria is more or less performative than anything substantial. Mind you, just within this week, I think, was it any last week? There was an attack on some U.S. personnel in Syria. But because the U.S. is trying to, is in good terms with the Syrian government, mind you, the Syrian president was a former ISIS affiliate, Ahmad Ashara, formerly called Abu Muhammad Julani, who had a bounty on him by U.S. So now finding an alternative avenue to strike ISIS makes Trump appear to be fighting ISIS globally. So Nigeria fits into that narrative. Secondly, carrying out the attack on the 25th December, which is Christmas Day, against the backdrop of Trump accusing Nigeria of orchestrating what we call a Christian genocide, which has not substantiated. It fits into that is more of a speculative than any substantial attack. And if anybody is familiar with the terrain in northwest Nigeria will tell me a single strike of insignificance. So as far as the fight against what we call it, terrorism is concerned in that region.
Well, you've spoken briefly about the significance of, these attacks on Nigeria, but what does this development suggest about the spread of ISIS's influence beyond Nigeria's northeast?
Well, Nigeria has been battling ISIS and Boko Haram, I think, for almost a decade now in northeast. But then it also tells you that the insecurity in Nigeria is widespread. And then also, it shows the lack of what you call it, awareness about the terrain itself on American side. Like I said, in Sokoto State, there is no ISIS. The only time ISIS came to attack somewhere in northwest Nigeria was an attack in north central Nigeria, in Kogi State. This is just isolated attack one. So I think, and it is important to note that the attack from the images put by U.S. Department of War, the Air Force Command of the time, it was, I think, it occurred from the middle of the sea from a ship, which most likely will be a Tomahawk missile. And that shows the inability of U.S. what you call it, to operate within the Sahel after it lost its base in what you call it, Niger after the coup. So it shows U.S. inability to operate within the region clear to bring the past. It also shows its lack of awareness with the security challenges in Nigeria due to the vast span of the security challenges across the country. But significantly, it also indicates that Nigeria's insecurity is no more a domestic affair, neither is it just a regional problem, but an international one that requires some input across the world and self-operation.
And how might this operation, in your opinion, affect regional security in West Africa?
Well, I've always been an advocate of regional initiatives to end terrorism. So long as we wait for the outside forces to come and operate, everybody comes with their own interest. Like I said, it was more performative for me than anything else. America is just trying to appear good. And Trump is to be like, the commander-in-chief that he is. But quite interesting. It is West Africa that suffers the attack. It is West Africa that bears the brunt, because any insecurity in one country affects the most stable countries nearby, because of the inflow of refugees and the rest. And then it's spreading across now, coastal states have been challenged. So this attack will be a one-off. Even if it's sustained, would only reduce the tension between Americans and what you call it. Mind you, is an accidental strike on civilians in northwest Nigeria from America. It put the Tinubu government in a bad light across northwest Nigeria to really understand and politicians out there state and die. So it could have a domestic impact. But the solution for me as far as I understand the situation, it requires a collective ECOWAS input.
And speaking of neighboring countries, we are Nigeria's direct, neighbor. Should we be worried as a country?
Yeah, we should be in terms of refugees, because look at the fact that beggars even migrate across Nigeria and Nigeria to come and beg in Nigeria, to come and beg in Ghana. It says the next instability over there, Ghana becomes the next point of what you call it arrival, the next destination for them. So we should be concerned on that. And also from another security perspective, when those people are coming, are they using approved channels or unapproved channels? And how do we make sure that even when they come, we're able to, profile them, in order not to get some, terrorists hiding within those refugees to also come and, exacerbate our own situation here. Mind you, are just in Burkina Faso, which is also a whole lot of terrorist attacks here and there. So we should be alarmed and we should be concerned. But then it also requires some regional cooperation. That's the most important thing.
Now, there are reports that the jets left Ghana to Nigeria. I mean, are these reports true? And I mean, what significance, what implications will it have on our country, if there will be any?
Well, I think that is coming against the backdrop of can believe the U.S. had some military presence in Ghana. You may quite remember the controversy around the U.S. teams that had military base in Ghana. So this brings narrative of, that pro-imperialist element within the South. And it's really the narrative of the Sahel state, actually. But they portray with the democratic states as pro-imperialist, as they tout themselves to be anti-imperialist. But then from the images posted on U.S. Department of War, it was seaborne attack. The missile was fired across the sea. But which of the seas, we don't know, was this in the Gulf of Guinea, was this somewhere far from here? We can't tell. But you know, U.S. has this African Command, AFRICOM, which operates across the region. So it's hard to predict, but I'm not sure Ghana was involved. There's nothing substantial that shows that anything happened actually from the Ghanaian side, from our side.
Ms. Alhassan Bello, thank you so much for your time here with us. We've been speaking to security analyst Alhassan Bello on the recent development that has taken place in Nigeria with regards to U.S. airstriking some ISIS-related states in the country. You're still watching Joy News Desk right here on Joy News. I'm Noella Karanyali. Let's take a quick breather. We're back with more.
You're welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. I am Michelle Ejekum. Let's do some business stories. Now, developing basic infrastructure and providing reliable security are crucial for the growth of the country's tourism sector. Now, that is according to operators in the hospitality industry. They explained that the availability of essential amenities such as street lights and well-maintained roads contribute to a complete tourism experience. David Edrafol, Managing Director of Labadi Beach Hotel, made these remarks in an interview with Joy Business.
As government to invest in tourism. Yes, I know of the PPP, the private partnership, all that. It is good. But there are certain things that are key that government needs to be the one to spearhead. And spearheading, you need to lay the foundation right, and then the private sector will spring on that. And that is when we all grow together. Because if governments, for instance, infrastructure, road leading to tourist sites, people have built tourist centers or things to do with tourism or hospitality outside of Accra, beautiful places, but the road network to those places are bad. And the private man cannot just build a road must be built by the government. Now we are doing 24-hour economy, which is fantastic because it's one of the things that people don't understand. 24-hour economy is big. It can generate more revenue for the country and for everybody. I always say that I'm a product of 24-hour economy. And I started work as a night auditor. I was working in the night. And I enjoyed it, and I grew out of it. I mean, I kind of rose through the ranks. And so I understand this concept, and it's one fantastic idea from the government. But the government must walk the talk. Infrastructure to develop tourist sites and hospitality sites are key. For instance, 24-hour economy. If tourists come to your country and they want to go out and have fun, the street lights, the whole of this stretch at Labadi, in front of Labadi to Teshi or to Osu, there's no street light. The street lights are off every time. Do you think they'll feel safe? They will not feel safe. So these are some of the things that the government needs to help, to come in to support. And if there are street lights and the roads are good, they ply on good roads and security is guaranteed, why not? People would like to. I'm a night man. I like to, have fun in the night. Night is good. I mean, there's day, so there's night. But if you don't feel secure, and security is from who? Central government in terms of providing the proper things in place, street lights, proper roads. So the government has a lot to do.
Now, as graduate unemployment continues to cast a long shadow over Ghana's labor market, many young professionals remain locked out of opportunities, not for lack of education, but for lack of experience. In a sector where technical competence and hands-on exposure are critical, one mining company is stepping in to close the gap. Goldfields Ghana's graduate trainee program is once again celebrating new batch of trainees, with a majority already transitioning into employment within the mining industry and other related sectors. Here is a report.
struggle to enter the job market because employers demand prior work experience, a requirement many do not have. To address this challenge within the mining sector, Goldfields Ghana introduced its graduate training program in 2018 designed to give graduates hands-on professional experience and technical exposure.
The graduate training program has become a cornerstone of Goldfields' skills development strategy, targeting tertiary graduates from the host communities. The 2-year structured program provides immersive on-the-job training across functions such as mining, engineering. Impressively, 77% of past trainees have either secured employment or pursued further education, underscoring the program's effectiveness in preparing young professionals for competitive careers.
This year, 90 trainees graduated, bringing the total number of beneficiaries to 261 since the program began. Company executives describe the program as critical intervention that improves employability, reduces unemployment, and expand opportunities for young professionals.
As some trainees readily secures employment with Goldfields business partners, and other mining companies in the country even before or on completion of the program. It is interesting to note that 17 of the trainees in this cohort have already secured employment, 6 from the Dama mine and 11 from Takwa, whilst 1 is pursuing further studies abroad.
With many more graduates expected to benefit in the coming years, Goldfields believe the initiative will continue to support national development by equipping young people with competences needed for the future.
And that's all for business. I am Michelle Lejekum. Please log on to myjoyonline.com for more business news. Voila.
Hi. Anyway, so today is the day and excitement has reached its peak as patrons and music lovers gather for the highly anticipated Joy Family Party in the park. The event happening now at the Ibri Botanical Gardens promises a vibrant, fun-filled family experience with live performances from Kwanpa Band, Dope Nation and Kwabna Kwabna. Artists celebrated for their energetic stage presence and strong connection with audiences. My colleague Fatal Bayaga is at the Ibri Botanical Gardens and joins me live with more. Fatal, how exciting is the Ibri Botanical Gardens? I mean, bring us up to speed on what is going on there currently.
Everything is shaping up here at the Ibri Botanical Gardens, and today is going to be an exciting day because, just as you said, Kwampa Band is going to be here, Kobna Kobna, and a lot of other activities are going to be on display here at the Ibri Botanical Gardens. As I speak with you, a lot of patrons are already trooping in here with so much enthusiasm that they are going to unwind today with their kids. And this particular yearly event, in fact, this year, I'm told there are a lot of games and other activities for all ages today. So behind me, you see a lot of the patrons who are already here and, preparing just to, to see how this very interesting event is going to begin. But let me just talk to some of them about their expectations ahead of this very interesting party in the park. Good morning. Thank you very much. You are here today at the Joy of Family Party in the park. What are your expectations?
I'm expecting to have fun.
To have fun? I mean, there are a lot of artists who will be here. Kobna Kobna will be here. Kwampa Band will be here. What are your expectations in terms of the music? So let me speak with a lot more people here. Some of them are actually, beginning to celebrate at the moment because it's the Joy Family Party in the park. Good morning. Thank you very much. You are live on Joy News. Talk to us about your expectations ahead of this very interesting event.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So we are expecting to be fun. We want to enjoy ourselves because it's Xmas. Yes, that's why we are here. I'm here with my family.
You're here with your family. How many are you?
We are about 40.
About 40?
Yes.
Why? Why this huge number?
5 different families.
Okay. Why this huge number here?
Yes, because we want to have fun. Yes, and celebrate their Christ.
there's going to be so much music. Kwampa Band will be here. Kwabna will be here. What are your expectations in that regard?
Yes, we would dance to glorify God. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let me speak with a lot more people. Madam, good morning. All right, so Dola, that's the situation here. In fact, if you look at the far end or the other side, you see many people already trooping in here for the Joy FM family party in the park, and the business aspect is also taking shape. Let me talk to some of those who are selling here at the moment. Hello, good morning, thank you very much. You are live on Joy News. I've seen that your business is already taking shape. Talk to us about that.
Oh, so far so good. Things are going smooth.
What are your expectations generally?
We expect the people to come more and come and patronize us.
What are you selling?
Yeah. I have cotton candy, I have ice cream, popcorn, fresh juice, and nice, delicious Indomie.
I've seen that you've been cashing out since you came. How is that? How is that side like?
You are trying to give me case. I'm not cashing out yet. We are just monitoring the events here, so we are hoping they come more and buy.
Thank you very much. Nola, let me speak with this woman too. Yes, so what are your expectations?
I'm expecting more than what I'm seeing. I'm expecting more, even bigger than this. So call them to come. We are here enjoying ourselves.
So far, how has it been for you?
Very boom, 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 boom.
Thank you very much. So Nola, it's been quite, even though the whole event is yet to begin, things are very interesting at the moment. And, in the next few hours, this whole place will be taken over by many people. But let me speak with...
All right, and on that boom, boom, boom note, we say bye-bye to you here on Joy News Desk. I cannot wait to get done with work and make my way to the Ibri Botanical Gardens to enjoy this year's Joy FM family party in the park. And so if you have time on your hands, you should meet me there. Let's celebrate together. Let's take pictures together. But you should log on to myjoyonline.com for more of our local and international stories. And of course, do enjoy the rest of our programming. I'm Noella Caranyali. Good morning.